Hey there, everybody. This is Kristin from Teaching Balance, and I am here with you with this week's mindfulness meditation practice. We are in the month of slowing down and savoring. It's the month of the holidays. It's the month where we get our longest night of the year and shortest day. So it feels really appropriate, especially that savoring piece. Maybe not the slowing down as much because it's hard, of course, when the holiday demands are, in full swing. But what I thought would be interesting, because last week I invited you to savor the specialness of this season, I thought I would offer for this week something sort of counter to that, which is the idea of savoring the ordinary. Now, whenever I think about this idea, I am brought back to when I was a child. And I remember, I don't remember how old I was, but let's say I was like 10 or something like that. And I had some sort of illness, as children do. But it was that kind of illness that really knocks you out and you can't even eat. You're just a real mess. And I remember so vividly when I just started to feel just a little bit better. And I was able to have, I think I had some like Lipton tea, like hot tea, and bread and butter. And you may already know where I'm going with this, but I vividly remember my perception of this is the most delicious bread and butter I've ever consumed in my life. Or, this tea is the best tea I've ever experienced. And so you can see, where I'm going with this. The idea being, it's often when we are denied the everyday pleasures that we have the perspective or the clarity to really appreciate them when we are able to see them or have them or experience them again. And of course, I know you're probably already thinking, very similarly to COVID, like when you couldn't go out and see friends and see family and all the things that we weren't able to do, and then you can. I remember being in the grocery store after masks had been, no longer required or mandatory. And I remember I had my cart and I was going by this, guy, and it was that awkward moment of trying to get around each other. And we just like kind of smiled, like it was just a friendly smile, like, oh, sorry. And I remember vividly thinking, it's so nice to see people smile out in the world again. So I think you get the idea of what I'm talking about. And while circumstances, when they're denied us, really bring into focus how much we appreciate the everyday little ordinary things, whether it's a stranger's smile or a cup of tea or some toast and butter, I believe that there's a real opportunity, particularly because of our mindfulness practice and our meditation, to have those mini moments of mindfulness and awareness throughout our day, to be able to tune into and appreciate very simple, ordinary things and to savor them. And I'm not even going to give you a list because I know that you can come up with some fantastic ideas. Although I will say we've been having some plumbing work done, and not having access to hot water for some time really kind of rattled me. I was like, oh my God, I love hot water. Like I need it in my life all the time, every day. But anyway, you get the idea. So my invitation to you this week is savoring the ordinary, all those little things that we often take for granted and don't even notice because they are so commonplace, but yet have a lot for us to enjoy, appreciate, and savor. So let's go ahead and get our practice started. I'm going to set my timer for 10, of course. Allowing myself just to settle in and inviting you to do the same. The fact that wherever you are in this moment right now, that you've made this choice to take this time just to sit, be aware, cultivate your mindful awareness so that you can have those moments of informal mindfulness at any point throughout your day. It's such a gift, and it's deeply enriching when you can appreciate all those little things and savor them in a way that when you look around, so few people are choosing to or having the capacity to do. So even that, the fact that you have this capacity and this desire to be able to make that choice. If the mind has wandered, no big deal. In the past, I've given you the suggestion to, before you pivot back to your anchor, whatever it might be, the breath or sounds or the body, to take a really deep look at wherever your thoughts were. And I always like to talk about thinking as being like watching a film on the movie screen of your mind. So if you were to just go back for a moment and notice if we froze the movie, what was the image that was on the screen when I interrupted? What was the soundtrack? What was being said? Just, I think, makes it a little bit more interesting than to just make the mistake of just pushing the thoughts away or putting on blinders. Instead, we really want to have an even more penetrating gaze of those thoughts. Non-judgmental, of course, but still really just having a depth of awareness regarding where our minds are going when we meditate. And if it's helpful, you can label those thoughts each time, like a memory or a fantasy or a plan or worry. And then once you really got a sense of it, not getting pulled into the story of the thought, but really just looking at it, with that witness perspective, that objective view that we cultivate during practice. And then when you feel like you've gotten a sense of it to whatever degree feels right to you, then you can come back and once again rest your attention on the present moment. So let's come back once again, sit in silence, and I'll check back in again before we're done. Checking in and noticing where the mind is now, just like we did earlier. And then whenever you're ready, after taking a good objective look at those thoughts, coming back once again to that anchor, that resting place, which it really is deeply restful. So let's do that and rest together for the final minute or so until the bell. That is our 10 minutes. So, we started off the month with the invitation to savor the specialness of the season. And this week, the invitation is to savor all things not particularly special. And of course, I explained all of that, so I don't need to say it again. So as always, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this journey. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care. Bye.